So last week, ESPN came out with a top 10 QB list. And I was off. But I didn't forget. I promise you I didn't forget. Because I was looking at the list and I had some major issues with it. And this list is from executive players, scouts, and staff. To be honest, I think this list should have been more of like a most popular list, favorite players list, because this is not a top 10 QB list. So as I just kind of just look through it, it don't take long to really break down its errors. So as I'm looking through it, I got some issues. So first, I see Tom Brady fourth. Then I'm looking at the list and I see Deshaun Watson ranked over Dak and hasn't played in almost 2 years. And the last time he played a full season, he only won 4 games. Dak, his entire season, averages 10 to 11 wins per year. Then it gets crazier. Then I'm looking at this list by ESPN. It says Russell Wilson ranked under Matthew Stafford, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and Allen. Ooh. So obviously your boy Boss is gonna bring some context to this whole matter. And the context is pretty simple. I'm gonna set the standards in my measured Kool-aid of the top 10 quarterback list. It's not gonna be loosey-goosey where we don't know what the standards are. We're gonna be real clear what the standards are. The standards are longevity, consistency, arm talent, and big games. If you now have those 4 criteria as you rank your list, then it makes the list even easier to just break this down. So number 1 and clear, if you're looking at longevity, consistency, arm talent, and big games, that's easy Brady. Because see, if you look at Brady, even how he went out last year, the one thing you can say about Brady is he did not go out bad. So even though they didn't win it again and they didn't win it all, but his play all throughout the playoffs consistently is good. And he's consistently good, so I don't even have to go over that. He the GOAT, he's earned it. Number 2, if you're looking at longevity, consistency, arm talent, and big games, you got to say Aaron. Now, Aaron, in terms of, because you can say Brady's the overall GOAT, that's an easy thing to say. He's earned that at this point. It's undeniable. If you've been even thinking he's not, then this last Super Bowl kind of put it over the hump. And plus, he's 44 and still playing at this impeccable level. Give it to him. Aaron, he's the arm talent GOAT by far. Even the throw that he made against Dallas is still legendary, to where he's rolling out to his left, throws to his left as a right-handed quarterback. And what made it even crazier is he did the Michael Jackson lean, telling his tight end what to do as the ball in the air. So yeah, so when it comes down to longevity, consistency, arm talent, and big games, you got to put Aaron in number 2. Now, this is the issue. This is a big issue though. He didn't play good in that playoffs. He didn't. But because we're going to just keep it honest about him at the same time. And you have to knock him under Brady when it comes to big games. Number 3, because remember, it's about arm talent on my list as well. It's Mahomes. Because he's obviously rising, but he hasn't done enough, in my opinion, to fully anoint him as a top 10 QB over Brady and Aaron. Not yet. He's on his way, but not yet. And plus, he's had a couple of big games that's been, even his Super Bowl win. You really should get a running back the MVP, but he got it. He stunk it up. And last year in the playoffs, they had that game won. But Mahomes played bad. And so when you play bad and you're not as consistent, I just can't keep you at the top. But clearly, he's played in a lot more bigger games than most of this list. So he deserves to be at number 3, especially because of the freakish arm talent. But then number 4, where we go put him in his proper place, especially at his new locations with a lot of new weapons, that's clearly Russell Wilson. I ain't even finna play no games with y'all. Like, to even have him under Herbert, Joe Burrow, it shows so much recency bias in that ESPN list. I ain't gonna even get into it. His career has been too long, too consistent to knock him maybe over one okay year. I'm just not listening to it. It just didn't make any sense. Now, number 5 is Dak Prescott. So yeah, I said number 5 is Dak Prescott because to me, he's easily number 5. Because a lot of people, when they trying to decide who on this top 10 list, they leave off some important factors. Like one major important factor that people always forget is that Dak had no offseason. And with him having no offseason, he still broke Romo's franchise record with 37 touchdowns. And he also really had no training camp. And on top of all of that, for the first 8 games, Dak was the leading favorite, according to Vegas, for MVP. So yeah, you can question his last 8 games, but you're not going to tell me with a straight face that he fell off a cliff. You a lie. That just didn't happen. It's fake. It's phony. Because a lot of even Dallas Cowboy fans, they're divided and they scoff when you start putting them around 5 or 6. Like, oh, he's not top 5. It's like we get a joy out of not giving that credit. How can you be pretty much top 5 in almost every category, almost every year? Because I saw it on Law's show. I think he saw it on Vi's show. But top 5 in every major category, but we scoff at the notion that he could be top 5. Yeah, it don't make no sense, especially when you look at what he accomplished given the degree of difficulty. Every year he's top 4 in deep ball accuracy. He's battling out pretty much in deep ball accuracy between Russell Wilson and himself. And it's every year. He's always had a good passing rating. He always averages about 10 to 11 wins when he play a full season. When it comes down to longevity, consistency, arm talent in big games, especially in big games, this is the biggest key when you're talking about Mr. Dak Prescott and why he's easily 5 at least. When you're talking about big games, up until last year, Dak was number 1 in fourth quarter and overtime passing ratings. So when the game was on the line, he played his best. I'm talking about for years. So no, I'm not scratching my head at Dak, nor am I waving on Dak, man. That's easy. Now, some people might swap 5 for 6, and I can see where you can do that. But I got Josh Allen at 6. I think that's fair because Josh Allen clearly has a bigger arm than Dak. We gonna give him that. He's bigger. He's taller. He has some of those things that make playing a position a lot easier. But he's also had a lot more consistency around him and a more complete team. And he came on late. Let's not forget his first 2 years, he stunk it up. I'm talking about stank boo-boo, trash boo-boo, right? And he went into the offseason, he went to the lab, and he got some accuracy on that big arm. And now he's trending up, and he likely that his trend could end up in the next 2 or 3 years with more longevity and more consistency, maybe end up being number 3. He can battle Mahomes. He that good. But right now, it hasn't been consistent enough for me. And I haven't really seen him challenged enough to really give him a high ranking. But if you switch Dak and Josh, I ain't mad at you. If you switch Josh and Russell Wilson, I say you tripping because of the longevity of Russell Wilson, but I wouldn't be mad at that either. Number 7, the forgotten man, should have been on the list with ESPN, wasn't even on the list, Lamar Jackson. You can't ignore talent like that. And you can't ignore somebody who was a recent even MVP. You just can't do that. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to forget about guys who's now been doing it a little bit longer and it has a rare skill set. And then some of the things they say about Lamar Jackson are lies. Like he's actually number 1 and throws outside the numbers. But they say he can't throw. They say he's inaccurate. Some labels are just made up. I'm just being honest. It's just made up. Number 8, rightfully so, Joe Burrow. I got Joe Burrow number 8. Now, what's happening with him is a lot of recency bias. But we got to remember that sometimes these quarterbacks start hot. And if I'm going to judge Joe like y'all judge Dak, because when Dak came out hot as a rookie, broke all these records, everybody was quick to say, well, we need to see it again. Or can he carry a team? Can he take them all the way? See, Joe Burrow on his own mouth said that the defense was the key to his playoff run. That's out his own mouth. Then number two, we also had a quarterback before go all the way to the Super Bowl named Goff. So going to the Super Bowl is not enough for me, because sometimes you go into a Super Bowl because of the balance and completeness of your team. Now, he made key plays. He made some plays to where he kept the drive alive with his legs under intense pressure because his offensive line wasn't that good. So, but that's a fair place for Joe. Then next, rightfully so, Justin Herbert. Because Justin Herbert definitely, he's up trending. He probably has arm talent equal to Josh Allen in terms of big arm, complete baller. But it's one of those things we got to see it more. Plus, he doesn't have the accomplishments yet to have him ranked over Russell Wilson. That's crazy. Like smoking big crack. Like, no, come on now, stop. So, yeah, so Justin Herbert, even though he has all the raw he might be top 4 easily in arm talent. And he seems to have the right pedigree to be a top franchise quarterback, but just too soon for me. And too soon for a list that's based on longevity, consistency, arm talent, and big games. Nah, too soon. Number 10, Matthew Stafford. Yeah, even fresh off a Super Bowl. I got him number 10. Yeah, because he sucked so long against teams with winning record. He was one of the worst. So it really tells you that a lot of times these quarterbacks, regardless of the rank, is a product of their environment. And it's also saying to me that you don't need a top 3 quarterback to win a Super Bowl, to be all the way honest. So the difference between the Rams and Detroit is you got a common sense coach with Sean McVay who knew to feed and force feed his best players, versus Dak was in a system to where you got people that's basically telling him you in a committee system that's not focusing on your stars. So Matthew Stafford, if you look at Matthew Stafford with Cooper Kupp versus what Dallas did with Dak, they was ramping up the usage of Cooper Kupp over the years. I had this graph right here to prove it. But what they did with Cooper over the years is they ramped down his targets. That's a fact. And see, it made no sense if you think about it. Because when Dak first played with Cooper, the last 8 games, they was number 1 in yards with no offseason. That combo between them two with no offseason, him coming straight over for the Raiders, they blew up the league. But you also see that he had way more targets. So you had common sense with the Rams. You got the lack of common sense with the Dallas Cowboys. So it also, though, helped Matthew Stafford's legacy and is stifling Dak Prescott. But this is the real measured Kool-aid top 10 list. No BS, no trash, no fluff. I told you the list and the criteria of the list. And I don't think too many people can fight over this list. You might argue about a couple of spots here and there. But man, please, ain't no list. The ESPN list, burn it. I mean, if you need toilet paper, use it. But nah, they list was off. And listen, I'm going to tell you something. As Cowboy fans, we got to learn the facts on our quarterback. And we got to protect our quarterback and have his back. Like saying we divided, if Dak is top 10, just crazy to me. But anyway, this Boss Cowboy Sports, where your voice matter. We will continue to give you this type of content. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel as we continue to give you content just like this. Y'all stay up. Peace.